So now there's a transgender Amazon on Paradise Island. Yeah, that's not how this works. I saw this nonsense about a transgender Amazon making the rounds, and my first thought was, this has to be a Vita Ayala thing. And wouldn't you know, I was right. Vita Ayala and Stephanie Williams are writing this miniseries Nubia and the Amazons. So of course it's going to include a black transgender lesbian because no Vita story is complete without a self-insert. And this one is a double whammy because Williams is a lesbian too. Color me unsurprised. I'll let other people handle the goofy political pandering bit. I just want to point out two things. One, Bia, this new character literally no one cares about, isn't transgender. Allow me to mansplain. The concept used here is the Well of Souls, an idea created by George Perez when he revamped the Amazons. In his version of Themyscira, new Amazons are born when women who were created in man's world are reincarnated on the island. The lore implies that you must be female for this to work, so if you're a man who believes he's a woman, you don't get brought back. It's not just that you think you're a woman, you have to be biologically female. And transgender women are not biologically female, so this idea breaks the lore. However, let's say it didn't. Let's say that whoever thinks they're a woman gets brought back via the Well of Souls. Well, that person wouldn't be transgender. See, in order to be trans, your body has to be the opposite of what your neurology makes you think you are. So if you're a trans woman, you are male, but your brain makes you think you're female. But when you're brought back by the Well of Souls, you're reincarnated. It's not that your original body is altered, you literally get a whole new body, which in this case would be a female body, which would mean your body would now match your neurology, meaning you would now be biologically female. I promise you, no one at DC Comics thought about this, and I can prove it, because if you think about it for more than 10 seconds, you'd notice the flaw. Which brings us to point number 2, the bad storytelling. I can already hear people going, how do you know it's bad storytelling? You haven't read it. Allow me to mansplain again. The only reason we know the character is trans is because the writer told us. This book just came out and nobody was talking about it, and then the writer hopped on Twitter to declare that Bia is transgender. One of the first rules of storytelling is to show, don't tell. Instead of Ayala and Williams showing Bia's character progression in the story, they tell us, outside of the book, that the character is trans. That's bad storytelling 101. And it's so obvious that Williams tries and fails to deflect it in the tweets. Quote, Bia will have a role on Themyscira beyond just existing. She isn't set dressing. She isn't a box to tick. She is a fully fledged character that is important to her community. Which we could totally tell from the single panel the character is in. I know you're just ticking the box because this is literally the first and only thing you're telling us about the character. You haven't given us a backstory, any interactions with people on the island, a scene of dialogue, hell, we don't even have a personality trait. All we know is the character is trans because, quote, black trans women are important to us in real life. Bia is nothing more than set dressing, just a box to tick, another empty token self-insert for a non-existent audience of a book no one wants to buy. This was your chance to prove that you can make a fully fledged transgender character not defined by their identity politics but by their personality and actions. And you blew it on your own, and then said the quiet part out loud. It's interesting how all these coming out stories have nothing to do with the characters or the world they're set in. There's never any attempt to get people emotionally invested in these characters, in their lives, or in their stories. The sole reason you should want to read these books is because of what groups they belong to and what politics they hold. It's so unbelievably lame that even the creators can't muster interest in their own stories. So we get these lazy tweets telling people the secret plot that everyone saw coming, basically giving away any incentive to read the book. At this point, you don't need anyone talented to outdo any of these stories. You just need a competent 10-year-old. Hell, English doesn't even have to be their first language, and they'll tell better stories than this. But what do I know? I'm just some guy.